Hello everyone, hi! I thought I would give you a tour today of my lived-in, artsy, a little bit chaotic and plant-filled apartment. I have been living here for the past 7 years and have really turned this apartment into a place that feels like me. Almost everything here is thrifted, printed at home, or slowly collected over time. So I hope this video is also proof that making a space beautiful doesn't have to be expensive or complicated. This shoe storage cabinet, for example, I found on a second-hand site for free. Moving into the living room, we see what I consider to be the centerpiece of my apartment, my piano. Above it, there is a picture of Mendelssohn playing for Goethe. The Lovers by Egon Schiele is a poster I found in a museum shop once. Now, this is the main room in my apartment that has the sofas and, of course, the gallery wall. I could genuinely talk for hours about all the art on my wall, so I'm making a longer Patreon video explaining all of the prints and objects in detail. So if you're interested in the whole rundown, names, artists, etc., I will link that below this video. In essence though, if I love something for long enough, whether that's a piece of art or writing, eventually it ends up framed somewhere on my walls. Here is a Paul Celan quote, for example. He talks about poetry being a way of coming home from oneself to oneself. Here I have the cover art of the new album of a dear friend of mine, and I also have lots of photos that I took over the years on film. I try as much as possible to give myself permission to decorate imperfectly and to just use whatever I have. For a time when I didn't have a printer, I used to just write quotes by hand and stick them up on the wall. I really keep my apartment the way other people keep a commonplace book. In my coffee table, that was a wonderful flea market find, by the way, I keep books from the university library. So those are all books on topics that I'm researching at the moment and that I know I will give back eventually, so I like keeping them separate. On top of my living room table, there are the books that I'm currently reading, as well as my coffee table book, the Book of 1,000 Books, which also doubles as a flower pressing book. Moving on into my study, this could be a familiar sight to you if you're watching my channel regularly. You're looking at the background of all of my YouTube videos. So this room is technically, I think it's called a loggia, so it's not heated and it's a balcony, but indoors kind of. And my overflowing bookshelves are over all of the folders that I have. So I have my university folders. There are 6 of them now, 1 for every semester. I keep all of my strange lucidity notes and scripts in one of those folders as well, and the scripts for the courses I created. People often ask me how I curate my bookshelves, and essentially I try not to buy any book that I don't plan on reading immediately. So I never do this thing of like buying 10 books just because I saw them and I like them and I think that I want to read them eventually. Having unread books on my shelf really stresses me out. So in general, I try to get a physical copy of every book that I read, but then actually read it and keep it in my shelves. The books are categorized by sections and they kind of represent the different interests I've had throughout my life. So in my 20s, for example, I was really into spirituality and tantra, as well as trauma therapy. All of those books are now on the top shelf. Moving down, we have a lot of books on organic dynamic farming and anthroposophy. And then fiction starts. I have a little bit of a collection of contemporary fiction, and then a corner of philosophy and theory. The bottom two shelves are definitely the ones that I use the most. I have all of my books of French literature on the second shelf on the right. In the middle, books written in the English language, originally at least. And then on the left, kind of all of the other languages. And then all the way on the bottom are the books that I use the most often at the moment. So all of my books of German literature are there, as well as my Proust shelf. I get a lot of questions about my typewriter. I have to honestly say, I just bought it secondhand in my local secondhand store. It cost like 10 euros, and that was a long time ago. I really do not know a lot about it. It works the few times that I've used it, but I think it could really need a little bit of updating and care. On the other side of this loggia is the desk I'm always working on. It's also the desk I sit on when I'm filming my videos. I love it. It's perfect. I got it from my uncle when I moved in here. He bought it with his first teacher salary. That must have been in the early 70s, and it was already vintage then. It's super heavy, but yeah, I love everything about it. And on the left side of it, I have one of the only original works of art that I have, a Gustav Klimt lithography that I love with all my heart. Moving into the bedroom, I really care about not having any screens in my bedroom and prioritizing warm light so it's cozy. The bed frame I have was originally from IKEA, but I got it for 10 euros off the secondhand market. And behind it there is this long poster that depicts a part of the Water Lilies painting by Monet. Here we have Gustave Doré's illustration of the Divine Comedy, and of course the piece of wall I brought home from Paris. If you have watched that vlog, you know. And my favorite, Emily Dickinson, is always on my bedside table. I decided not to show you the bathroom and the toilet because there's really nothing much to see other than some quotes that I'm hanging up there because I want to read them over and over again. I hope you enjoyed this cozy apartment tour, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye.